with features that are comfortable and familiar, but created for your environment rather than your computer's. LumaFusion, the new art of editing.
A very warm welcome once again to the Short Film Show. If you're a fan of making or watching short films, then this is the place for you. For the next hour, we'll be taking a look at the very best in short films from around the world. And if you've already made a short film, then we want to hear from you. All of the usual social media channels where you can get in touch are on the screen now. And who knows, if you get nominated, you may find yourself coming along to the International Short Film Show Awards. So, on to today's proceedings. And in our first offering, we prove that you should never underestimate the power of love, or for that matter, underestimate the power of a love scorned. In our next film, Gary starts out lying to his wife about why he's late home from work again. But she doesn't believe him, so maybe coming clean and telling the truth would be a smart move.
You're late?
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
Oh, yeah, there was an old lady incident, but it sorted, I helped out, and it's all fine now.
What kind of old lady incident?
She fell. There's an old lady, she fell on the pavement, but I helped her get into the ambulance. She's fine, it's all sorted.
Well, how would you know she's fine now, if she's in the ambulance?
Well, no, what I mean was she was fine as I was helping her into the ambulance with the ambulance people, and they've put her in the ambulance, and now they've taken her to where the ambulance people go, and I'm sure she's fine.
Where did all this happen?
But just before Tesco's. You know, on the ring road. If you keep going, I mean, you don't take the first right, because that'll take you to Wilkinson's. Just between there, it was just there on the pavement, and that's where she did it, and that's where I helped her. But it's all fine now.
You're lying, Gary.
I'm not lying.
You're lying, and I know you are.
Okay, I am lying, all right? I didn't want to have to tell you this because I love you and I care about you and I don't want to upset you, but I was in a hotel room with Wendy, your best friend. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I feel bad about it, but she does this thing with her finger and she tickles that, and then it doesn't matter, but it's great and you don't do that anymore, and I'm sorry, it's just about the sex, okay?
You're lying, Gary. You weren't helping an old woman and you weren't screwing Wendy. You were working late. Again!
Gemma, I was not working late, and don't you accuse me of doing such a thing.
You must think I'm stupid. You come in here at all hours, night after night. I can smell the bloody Tipp-Ex on you.
No. That was because I'd made a spelling mistake on a love letter that I was writing Wendy, and I was just correcting it.
You're unbelievable. And I should have known. Because my friends, they didn't like you. Oh, he's got an eye for figures. And now look what happens. I am out there defending you, and all the time you're skulking around by your desk with your calculator and your PowerPoint presentations, laminating your handout.
Look, I was banging Wendy in a travel lodge, okay?
You were banging out reports for your boss.
Look, if we're at a point where I can't even have a simple affair without being accused of working late, then I don't know what we've got left. Jem? Jem?
No, you're right, Gary. We've got nothing left. So I think it's best if you take your stuff and get out.
What are you doing?
Jane. Get out. And you can tell that coward in the car he's welcome to you.
Jim. I think I'm going to need somewhere to stay tonight, boss.
I'll set you up a bed in the boardroom.
Thanks.
So, she didn't go for the whole, then?
No.
Well, that's disappointing. I followed your instructions to the letter. So, where do you think we didn't meet the target?
I haven't given it much thought, boss.
No, I'm serious. We need a debrief here. Don't hold back. Come on, appraise my performance. How was my pucker?
Your pucker? I think your pucker was great, boss, but I haven't given anything else much thought.
Don't worry, Gary. We're going to make a win-win out of this.
Boldly Ed.
Oh, just have that quick bargee. Oh, just have that.
Love takeaway. Tap the app today at hungryhouse.co.uk.
There's beauty in telling your story where you're most inspired to tell it. LumaFusion, the new art of editing.
As down the glen one Easter morn to a city fair rode I. There are met lines of marching men in squadrons passed me by. No fight did hum nor battle drum did sound its dread tattoo, but the Angelus bells o'er the Liffey swell rang out through the foggy dew.
You look like.
Tiny Tim. I know.
Glad you can make it.
I wouldn't miss this.
How is it?
Grand. Yeah, it's okay.
Really? Doesn't look too groovy.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't guess it, but there's still a fair amount of pain where the knife went in.
Yeah. To be fair, it does look like a classic case of knife in the leg.
So, is that the...
Yep. Managed not to lose him.
Jesus. It's very small, isn't it? To fit a whole person in.
Yeah, I suppose. Then your body is 60% water.
60.
I know. Doesn't leave much else at the end, does it?
Like boiling spinach.
Weird, though, to think at the end of it all you can be condensed down into a size 4 football.
Size 4 if you're lucky. He was not a small man.
No. Hard to miss. There. I was thinking, do you know when you're in the graveyard and you see all those old tombstones, and some of them are much bigger than others, and you think, wow, I wonder who that was. You know, they must be really significant. I'd love to read about them. Well, do you think it's the same with the urns? Do you think people see the big ones and go, wow, they must have been really significant? Or do they just go, God, he must have been fat as fuck?
But probably the latter. People are cynical like that.
Think so?
Yeah, I think it's easier to believe something harsh than something good. Yeah, do you remember Danny Stoker? Big head, small face.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Danny told me that only around 20% of the ashes in the urn is the body of the beloved. The rest is a mixture of people they cremated that day. Now, I could believe that, or at least no one's going to laugh at me for believing that, even if it is a load of old bollocks.
So you're 60% water. After burning, only 40% of you remains, and only 20% of that makes it into the urn. 20% of 40. Jesus. After all that.
There's only 8% of you in one of those.
Will you get that out of me face? If that's all true, then yeah, those are the stats.
They don't say that in the service, though, do they?
No, probably because the point of this is what it represents.
Well, 8%, that's what it represents.
No, it doesn't. You can reduce everything to numbers, but it doesn't mean you solve anything.
What do you mean?
Look, does it really matter how much of him is in this thing? Is it not okay to say it's about something more than what you can explain in a maths equation?
Is that a British thing, do you reckon?
No. I don't know. But it certainly seems strange that naivety is considered a greater sin than cynicism, don't you think?
So, do you believe in God, then?
Ah, Jesus. Here's not the time for that. We'll talk about that in the pub. Why are you asking me all these questions anyway?
I'm not. Well, you started with all your Walt Whitman transcendental bollocks. I'm just... You know, with all this, I'm just trying to...
I know.
All I wanted to do was something good, and now he's in that fucking box. That's all that matters.
This is a good thing.
I'm doing this out of guilt, not because it's a good fucking thing.
Well, maybe guilt is a good thing in itself. Sure, it probably means you've done something bad. But it also means you know right from wrong. Unless it's like a Catholic guilt for being alive or something. You're not Catholic, are you?
No. Parents were Methodist, I think.
Oh. Well, there you go. No weird guilt stuff. If you're Methodist, all you have to do is go to church on Sunday, sing a few songs, and everyone goes home and has a wank, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I know you're right. About the guilt, not the wanking. It's just... if we could give him some dignity, you know? That'd be good.
Yeah, I know. Come on, let's get this over with.
Yeah, it's fucking freezing.
Jesus, this is tight.
If you twist it to the left. No, it's lefty-loosey and righty-tighty. I know, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty.
I know it's fucking lefty-loosey. I'm turning it to the fucking loosey. Jesus, fucking. There, you have a go.
Yeah, it's locked. Well, why do you put it on so tight?
Yeah, give it here.
Well, is there a button?
Urns don't have buttons.
It's a box, isn't it?
Ah, there she goes. Here. Okay.
Whoa. What are you doing?
We're going to scatter the ashes.
Well, you're supposed to do it by hand, bit by bit. You look like you're emptying the mop bucket.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, no, sorry, no. Listen, I'll call you now, all right? No, I'll call you now, okay? No, I can't talk now, all right? Yeah, bye. Bye now, yep. Fucking Ryanair. Can't give you an hour. Where were we?
So, should one of us say something?
No, yeah, you're right, of course. Well?
What? I haven't got anything to say.
And what makes you think I do?
You're better at this sort of thing. You're always doing the talking.
I'm the doing, it seems.
Come on, man. Please. Now, phone's off.
Phone's off. Here we are now. And to be honest now, I don't really know what to say other than good luck. And peace be with you.
Little fucking cunt. Come on.
I'll give you a lift to the pub.
Yeah. Thanks. It's okay. All of this.
I hope you know that.
You're going to be okay.
Oh, had they died by Pierce's side, or fought with Cal Brew, their names we would keep where the Fenians sleep, 'neath the shroud of the foggy dew. But the bravest fell, and the requiem bell rang mournfully and clear for those who died that Easter tide.
Well, we're going to take a short break, but don't go far, because coming up in part 3, we're going to be taking a look into a world of some superb 3D animation. See you in a moment.
They loved me. They gave me a standing ovation.
But she mistakes stretching for true adoration. Standing ovations are now protocol. What happens on stage hardly matters at all. When a show ends, an audience stands and smiles and hollers while clapping their hands. Pity the artist who looks from the stage and views her ovation, sufficient to gauge that the crowd thought her act was of uncommon merit, or scarier, going so far to compare it to works of true genius by artistic gods, all thanks to her public's encouraging nods. The performance she gave may have been pretty good, yet it may have been dull, even though the crowd stood. So, when you next hear of a standing ovation, don't just assume the show was a sensation. It may have been grand and oh, so refined. Or maybe the audience was just being kind. But let her go on, waxing poetic regarding a feat that may have been synthetic. Bite on your tongue as she coos and she flaunts. You know the truth. She'll think what she wants.
Now, we've all experienced being somewhere that we didn't want to be. But being in the wrong place at the wrong time can quickly turn into being in the right place at the right time. Let's meet Mark.
Oh, Mark, so good to see you. Don't think you were going to make it, but I'm so glad you did. Everyone from the office is in here. It's going to be so much fun. Come on, this way.
Matt, it's great to see you out of the office. Mark.
Oh, great lines. I'm Laura.
Mark.
It's nice to meet you, Mark.
You too.
Sometimes the stories we tell produce unexpected. The new.
Welcome back to the final part of the short film show, where coming up we'll be chatting with director Lee Squires about his film Blue Train. But first, it's hard not to want to go out and spend tens of thousands on a camera to make your short film. Or you could do what our next director did and shoot it on one of these things, a smartphone. Take a look at this.
Got everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Oh.
Wait,
You open it. Okay.
alright.
Okay.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Yeah. Bye.
Meet me in the morning when you thought things through, knowing you're walking on fire. Wouldn't you? And it's all yours if you want it, but it's mine until then. And it's all yours if you want it. Meet me in the morning when you thought things through, knowing you jumped on the train of thought, straight to the blue.
Well, it certainly was a great looking film from a very simple idea, and I'm pleased to say that the film's director Lee Squires joins us now. Lee, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And it was musical inspiration for this one. Tell us a little bit about the background of how this film came about.
So I made a film before and used the band's track for it, for like the title track, and I couldn't pay them for the rights, so I promised to make them a music video in return. And I didn't hear from them for like 2 years. And then, yeah, they chased me up and said, oh, we've got a new album coming out. Really like your work, so just have a listen to the whole album, pick your favourite song. And this one just really stuck out. It was actually the first track on the album, so
right.
It might have looked like I was being lazy and just picked the first one, but it really stood out to me, and was a bit more unconventional and something new for me to try and play with.
Yeah, so as is the case within the creative industry, it was a favour owed a favour, and these guys called it in after a couple of years, and this was the result. But they were expecting a music video, but you went on and said, look, hang on, let's do a whole short film.
Yeah, because I wanted to get away from doing performance-based music videos, and I've been writing a lot of scripts for like narrative, romance, drama and comedy. So I wrote a script with this song in mind, sent it to them, and they really liked it.
What are some of the pitfalls for people setting foot into the short film industry? Is it an easy thing to get started with, or is it?
So I think it takes a lot of courage to get started, but I think once you get started and meet a couple of people, and then you realise that you can sort of grow up together and make films and meet more people, go to film festivals.
Is short films for you a stepping stone onto longer form or feature films, or is this your genre and what you're going to happily stay doing?
I always imagined it being a stepping stone. Like I always thought, like most people, I'll make features one day, and I'm writing features, but as shorts are becoming more and more popular and more of a viable career, I'm getting more and more used to making shorts. Maybe that is where I should stay.
And lastly, if you've got any advice for any of our viewers who are watching, because they all sit there and watch and think, well, I'd like to do that, or I could do that, what advice would you give them?
I'd definitely look for some competitions to enter.
Okay.
Like 48-hour challenge, where they give you a prop and a line. So it really forces you to sort of, it gives you a deadline, it gives you rules and parameters.
Brilliant. Lee, thanks ever so much, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Well, just time to fit in one more film to take us to the close, but before we take a look at that, a quick reminder to check out our website to find out how you can submit your film to the Short Film Show. And while you're there as well, check out the very important details for the very important International Short Film Show Awards. You'll certainly want to be part of that one. But for now, from all of us here on the Short Film Show, until next week, thanks for watching and goodbye.
Wow, I'm well proud of Arden. I know, man, this is the coolest thing anyone has ever made.
Guys, you have to come and see this. Robin has made the coolest thing anyone has ever made.
Whoa! It's a rocket!
That's right, losers. I'm going to be the king of an alien race.
This is rubbish. Should we go back to the den?
What's